Hi everyone, Velvet here, and I have some stories for you today. But before we get started, can you please do me a huge favor and like, comment, and subscribe? It'll really help the channel out, and it'll get you more videos like this every day. Let's get started. Our first one comes from Trick Ganache 7660. Am I the beehole for telling my sister she was naive when she thought her daughter would suddenly see her stepdaughter as a true sister when they didn't get along before? My sister has an 18-year-old daughter, Casey. It was just the two of them for 10 years. Casey never knew her dad, which means my sister had sole custody of Case. When she was little, Casey used to talk a lot about how there were these mean girls in school. One of them, Valerie, Case disliked more than the others. She was the worst. My sister did her fair share of complaining about the dad too, especially when she had to replace an eraser a couple weeks into school, starting because Valerie broke it. When Case was 9, my sister and Valerie's dad started to spend time together, then they got married a year later. There was a lot of shock on my part, seeing as my sister knew how Case felt about Valerie. And given her own complaints about Valerie's dad allowing her to get away with so much. But he's an attractive guy, and I guess that won out over everything else. The announcement to Case went about as well as can be expected. She was furious at her mom. More so on our wedding day because my sister wanted the girls to match and look like sisters. For the first time, Valerie used the wedding to taunt some of Casey's friends, saying she was going to replace them with her. It only added fuel to their already bright fire. Case admittedly refused to take part in the wedding on the day and sat with me. Things in their household were tense for years afterwards. My sister would get upset that Case was so mad about it, that she didn't change her opinion of Valerie at all, and she would very strongly deny that they were sisters. About 2 years ago, after she got married, my sister decided they all needed family therapy. It was only the last 2 years that Valerie appeared to have grown, and from the outside, it does not look like she's the bully she once was. But Case still cares nothing for her. Both girls graduated in May, and Case moved in and out with me, wanting to get away from Valerie. The other day, my sister and I met up for lunch, and she was venting about Case not wanting to talk to Valerie at all, and how Valerie had wanted them to meet up every day after classes started. They go to different colleges, but are local. But Case didn't even answer her. She said she thought after all these years, Case would see Valerie as a true sister, and even if she didn't like her, there would be some sense of family loyalty there. I was shocked to hear my sister say that. She noticed and asked me why I looked like a fish. I told her I had never expected her to be so naive to think Case would feel that way when she hated Valerie long before she, my sister, met her husband. My sister's attitude changed very fast, and she told me that I'm the naive little brother to think these things don't change when family bonds are created. I told her that family bonds aren't created that easily when there's already bad blood present, no matter how much she might want them to be there. She told me I owed her an apology, and she'll be waiting for it. Am I the beehole? Hi, OP. You are not the beehole. This sounds like the plot of a movie. Your mother or your parent marrying the parent of your bully, and now you gotta live with your bully? God, that's messed up. Of course, she's not gonna want to see her as a sister. I wouldn't. This person has been treating me like garbage at school and, all the time. Oh, I'm supposed to just love them all of a sudden? Mm-mm. And also, that's really cold of Case's mom marrying your bully's father. You know that girl and that girl don't get along, and you marry him just because you think he's handsome? Oh god, that's so lame. I also agree with you, OP, on your sister being naive, thinking that Case would just easily forgive and forget. There are tons of people in the world, and you chose to marry the parent of your bully, of your child's bully? Come on now, I'd be the same way. I wouldn't want to have anything to do with them or see them as a family or anything like that. And our next one comes from First Tate. Am I the beehole for playing D&D at my house? My 30-year-old male girlfriend, a 30-year-old female, is a good person. However, she has some hard boundaries that seem to shift, and sometimes I can't find them fair. We've been together for 5 years. I love her. She doesn't have a lot of friends. She is quiet, unsocial, and hates to be outside her comfort zone. The thing is, when she's with her family slash friends, she cuts loose. She'll stay up until 3 in the morning, party, blasting music, basically parties down. However, when she's around my friends, who are generally nice, somewhat nerdy, normal guys, she's completely withdrawn, and doesn't attempt to be social in the slightest. I'm a more social person. And before we were together, I had a very constant and robust social life. My oldest friend, who I've known my whole life, is in town, and we wanted to play a D&D game with two other guys that we play about once a year for the last 10 years. I asked her if we could play at my house and warned her that we would play late. I did not specify how late. However, being that her and her friends slash sister will party until 2 or 3 a.m. when they're in town, 2 or 3 times a year, I assumed late would be around the same time. It is the first time in the last 3 years I've had tried to do something at my house. They came over at around 8, and we grilled some steaks, ate them, and played until 12. At 12, she called me and asked me to come to the bedroom, where she held herself up and didn't come out all night. She essentially freaked out and told me that I was being inconsiderate, and that she had booked an 8 a.m. yoga class, unbeknownst to me. When I said I thought I had cleared it with her, she told me to go cry an effing river and shut it down or else. She is now furious. I can't find it fair that I'm fine with her doing whatever she wants, which to be fair is not a lot. But when I try to do one thing with fair warning and her blessing, it's a huge fight. I typically don't try to do anything at our house because it always results in a massive fight. I feel like it's not my house sometimes. I don't know. Am I the beehole for not declaring how late we would be playing, or am I in the right feeling like I'm being held to unfair standards? Hi, OP, you are not the beehole. Personally, I'm gonna say your girlfriend is the beehole. Good thing you're not married. Personally, if I were you, what you need to do is tell her right now you're not gonna tolerate any of that nonsense. Especially this part, she told me to go cry an effing river and to shut it down or else. Who the hell are you to threaten me? In my own home, or maybe half of your home. Either way, it sounds like you're paying for some of that home. She does not sound like a stable person. She sounds like an abusive person, if you know what I mean. Not physically, but mentally. So she can do all this, party till 2 or 3, but you can't sit down and play some D&D until 2 or 3. She's messing with you, gaslighting you, and manipulating you. She is not a good person. I'm gonna be straight up with you, OP. If I were in your shoes, I would leave her. I don't care how cute and nerdy she is. She's abusive. Get out of there. Kick her out if it's your house. That's... I don't know. That just really pisses me off. Why are you over here thinking you're the beehole? You're not. You cleared it. And she's acting like this. Like, holy hell. Get rid of her. And our last one comes from Border Collie Flowers. Am I the beehole for bringing up my aunt's ex-husband after she kept pushing me to get married? My 32-year-old female aunt, a 55-year-old female, is one of those nosy ladies you think only exist in rom-coms. When I was a teen, she asked me when I'd get a boyfriend. When I was in a steady relationship, she would ask me when I was getting married. And the marriage inquisition became even more invasive after my younger sister, a 28-year-old female, got married this month, which probably gave my aunt probable cause to label me as the family's spinster. In the wedding party, she kept asking me why I had broken up with my ex-boyfriend. She said she always thought we'd end up married soon, and she advised me to get serious about this if I ever planned to have kids, because I'm not getting any younger. It came to the point where I couldn't keep my mouth shut anymore. Granted, I could have asked her to stay out of my business, but since she was bringing up things about my personal life, I assumed it was fair to do the same. So I said something like, even getting married is not guaranteed. You'd be with someone forever. Look at you and Uncle X. I'm sure you thought it would be eternal love, yet now he's with someone else. It was the same as slapping her in the face. She accused me of being disrespectful and left the table on the verge of tears. My mother, her sister, came to ask me what I had said, because my aunt was crying in the bathroom, and she told me to go after her and apologize. I refused. Was I really the beehole here? Hi, OP. I'm gonna say you're not the beehole. If your aunt is as nosy as you say, and I have an aunt like that too who will keep asking me when I'm going to get married and won't stay out of my business, she should expect someone to point out, her hypocrisy. she was married and it failed, and she's still going after you to get married? Come on, man, leave people alone and let them live their lives. Well, before we wrap things up here, I want to apologize for any of the noise you heard in the background. It's Thanksgiving and I have family over and they do not know how to be quiet. So the video is going to be a little bit shorter today because I want to go engorge myself on food. Thank you so much for staying with me to the end of this video. Can you please do what I said in the beginning and like, comment, and subscribe? It will really help the channel out and it'll get you more videos like this every day. Velvet out.